This is Tilted Podcast.
Hello, guys. Welcome. We are here. Week 2. Week 1 was insane. And unfortunately for the Raiders, they lost by a lot. Didn't look good. I looked dumb for rooting for them. Brad was right. Anthony's not here to defend himself. I will now admit that I looked dumb as shit rooting for the Raiders. I can only hope they would have done better. I do think the defense looked good at times. The offense is just so damn bad they can't do nothing.
Poor Anthony. Poor Anthony. He really, you know what? He did ask me, like, he's like, please just let him know the Raider season's not over. You know, it's over, man. I thought, I don't know. The biggest thing last week was just shocked that he, actually picked him to beat the Chiefs in the division. It's they look bad, man. And when you look back at it, in all reality, the Niners and Chiefs kind of showed who they are, right? They kind of still look the part.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. I was sitting there kind of looking at all the games and everything that happened. It's hard to like look at the NFL and be like, who's the third best team? Can you name a third best team right now? Like Texans looked pretty good, but then they had some moments where the Colts came roaring back a couple times,
Yep.
The Bills struggled a little bit, quite often, but they still came out with the win. But it's like the Chiefs beat a very, very good Baltimore team, and Baltimore was a tiptoe away from a touchdown to tie that game.
Yeah, I think they're the class. I think those are the best two teams.
It's the Niners in the in the NFC. I don't know who the second contender is going to be. The Niners look great. Everybody said the Rams, and to be honest, the Rams just look like they fluttered out a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of Niners, CMC and that injury, man, like what a shock to the fantasy world. What a shock to everybody's lineups.
Man, if you don't have Jordan Mason, you better run to the wire, baby.
Man, this is where everybody's just lives on. Make sure you have your handcuff. Make sure you have your handcuff. Especially,
and you know what? If you could get somebody else's handcuff, get them.
Or if you swoop in on a second handcuff, and I mean that I had that happen to me in 2 leagues where I had Jordan Mason, and all of a sudden, guess what? Jordan Mason's starting, and guess who started him in fantasy? I did, and it worked out great.
What do you think as a Niners fan, though? I mean, I'm still perplexed. That's the whole thing. It's odd that he's out.
I look at it 2 ways. I've been doing a lot of listening to Kyle Shanahan and the media when they do their interviews. Jordan Mason has proven himself. Think about all the backs that have come in the last 3 years, come and gone. Elijah Mitchell, we could just start naming them. Jordan Mason has always stuck around since he got drafted, or not drafted, excuse me, since he came in. He wasn't drafted, so he got picked up, since he came into the Niners. He's just been sitting there building and learning. And I mean, he's built just like Christian McCaffrey. He's not scared for hard contact, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think Niner fans should be ecstatic. You have 2 obviously very talented running backs now that you can lean on. You don't got to cowbell Christian McCaffrey anymore. You can give him a break here and there.
I think the hope for a Niners fan is that you have 2, right? I mean, I'm just concerned, man. Overall CMC, right? I mean, I know he's been healthy since he's been with you guys, but
it's the second game missed since he's been
right.
With the Niners.
It's kind of scary when you get back to his, the prior years, right, with Carolina. I mean, he missed a lot of games, and it was just kind of odd leading up to it. And then, seeing the interview with Jordan Mason afterwards, it was kind of odd. I don't really know, right, if the Niners are really going to get, investigated. I think what I heard, they're not going to.
The NFL came out and said they're not.
Yeah, and it's just an odd thing, man. I mean, they came out like a day later. I know it impacted a lot of fantasy people. I know it impacted a lot of bets, right?
It was an hour before the game.
It's just odd. I don't really know what to think about it, but they still look like, one of the teams that are going to be right there. I would think the NFC, the Lions and the Eagles have shown that they're going to be there. The Lions look good, man. I mean, Rams gave them everything they could, but the Lions look good. J-Mo made a difference in that game.
I'm about to say, except for St. Brown. St. Brown was real
Yeah,
quiet.
but that's what's interesting is JMO showed up. You know, St. Brown's going to get it going, right?
Oh
So
yeah, this week will
they've
be a
got
different
somebody
game.
else, man. And Laporta didn't do a lot either. So they're an exciting team. I mean, to me, it still looks like the Niners and Chiefs. As a Dolphins fan, I would hope that we could get in there, but they still look like the class. And then you look at the opposite side of that, right at the top, then you look at the bottom, right? I mean, who's going to get the first pick? It's pretty clear to me right now.
Man.
We got a battle between the Giants and the Panthers.
Yeah,
We got to
it's
figure out,
crazy.
man, because I know last week some of us maybe thought the Pats, and I was kind of like, man, I think they're going to be towards the bottom, but I don't know. Man, it looks like the Giants and the Panthers are going to be battling it out again for the number one pick. I don't
I,
see how it goes any way different.
I could weirdly see the Patriots going a little under 500 this year. I really can. New coach, new people, new players that are hungry to learn and win, and they didn't trade the house for guys, and they're kind of just sitting on what they've been drafting. So yeah, it's gonna be a weird man. Giants need I think
They look horrible.
I think everybody goes at the end of this year. They look like they made a terrible purchase in Daniel Jones. You know, they gave up Saquon Barkley, and then he turns around and has a phenomenal game for the Eagles. It's like everything that can go wrong for the Giants is still going wrong for the Giants.
Yeah.
Hooray for
You know what?
neighbors to have some
It
help.
appears, yeah, no doubt. It appears they're going to be trying to pick, right? Do they want Quinn Ewers from Texas, or do they want Shadura, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they got to get a quarterback. Daniel Jones is not the answer.
Yep.
They Saquon left. They just don't have a whole lot there. It doesn't look good for them. So,
Yeah.
but you know what? And another one from this week that I'm really wondering about, and I can't quite put my thumb on it. The other side of that game is Cincinnati, right? Like what?
Yeah.
I am concerned about Burrow. He does not look right. I didn't watch the whole game, but going back and watching some highlights, it appears he's shaking his wrist, like he's still struggling with it. And I mean, from a fantasy side, if you got him, you better get Jake Browning. You better get ready
Yep.
because it does not look right. He did not, and it's only week one, so we'll kind of see this week.
I think it was the Eminem hairstyle, the like, guess who's back kind of moment. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, man, like you don't play ball for a whole year. It does have an effect. And he came out and said, "This is the best I've felt since my rookie year, this and that." And then you go put that performance out there, and it just makes you really wonder. Speaking of like flops, look at Brandon Ayuk, 2 big drops, humongous
Yeah.
drops. A catch that he makes all the time in the back corner of a elite NFL throw to the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown that should have been caught. You're getting paid $30 million a year. You catch that damn ball that way. Like that ball was there. It was here. That's crazy.
You're getting me fired up right now. Let me tell
Man.
you something. No, we're not talking jelly beans, but because we don't do jelly beans on NFL, but that reception
Would have
really
changed a
bothered
lot.
me. It really bothered me and Anthony. I'm just gonna say that. We would have really liked that reception.
Well, he had 2 of them. One of them he had it was a clear catch, and he just didn't suck it in. The corner had a hell of a play on it, yanking it out. That one in the back corner, man, I don't know. That was even
tough,
he
normally
came
catches
out
it, though.
well, and then he came out the next day, actually on Monday morning, and said he was scared to watch his tape because he knew he made some mistakes. And
Yeah.
that's a glowing image of why you don't miss training camp. That's you are practicing catching in traffic. You're practicing catching, getting hit. It's you can't just do that playing catch in the backyard. Like you got to have that 7-on-7, that full team practice to really start to remember. Okay, I got to do this or I got to do that. Like, but they'll get it together. Still got the dub. I'm not upset.
No.
Tyreek Hill didn't go to jail, but pretty close.
What a mess, man. What an absolute mess. I don't even know what to think as a Dolphins fan. I'm still trying to figure it out. The video's out. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know why the window goes back up. I know he was frustrated. I don't know why he didn't roll the window down immediately from my standpoint, right? But then I also don't know. He was whipped out of that car pretty quick. But I get it, man. Definitely odd.
There's 2 sides, right? Like when you look at it,
sure.
but we get to see it. At the end of the day, the officer was super aggressive and did not diffuse the situation. There was no
Yep.
de-escalation. It was get the F out of the car because you're not listening. You're going into cuffs. Tyreek Hill could have been a little more respectful. Could have kept the
Yep.
window down. I understand the officer safety of things when the window's up. Those window tint, I couldn't even see inside the car. So
Yep.
like, I understand why that officer was probably freaking out. But at the end of the day, like nobody deserves to be treated that way and yanked around when they've given you their ID and they're, you could hear him multiple times. I'm getting out. I'm stopped. What do you
Yep.
want me to do? Like, and at that point, the fear starts kicking in. And I understand how that can be very, I feel for him and I hope he gets through it. And I hope it's Miami Dayton, right? Is that the police department? I hope they
Yep.
figure that
Yeah.
out because as sports fans and as law enforcement and the time we don't need that kind of stuff, man. We got to clean
No.
that up and get rid of it. It needs to be, it needs to be straightened up.
And
But
Calais Campbell, his new teammate, right? He pulls up on there and gets put in cuffs too, man. I mean,
yeah,
his
well,
teammates are pulling over and trying to help him, man. And
got to be
you know what?
careful on that one.
Hey, it might bring them together, man. I don't know. As a Dolphins fan, I was kind of excited. I'm like, hey, we might actually have a locker room that's
Yeah,
together this year. I don't know. That might bring them all together. We
well,
got to protect Tyreek, man.
before we start following along on these spread picks, what about your guys' running back situation, man? Like,
It's a mess right now.
oh man, Mostert. I mean, from what I'm hearing, he's fully out Thursday.
He's out. He's
He's
out.
out.
I think a chain's going to be game time decision. I think he'll play. I do.
I think he has to
Um,
play. I think
I think
if
he's
he,
going to play. They've got the young rookie Jalen Wright. I think they can lean on Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright. May make the game tough, right? But
yeah,
we'll just see. I do think a chain will play. If he doesn't, we'll obviously be impacted. Won't be able to spread the ball out to him, right? I mean, he played more of the slot. I mean, pretty much
yeah,
last week he
yeah.
was. I think he was 70 yards receiving, 80 yards receiving, something like that. I mean, out of the backfield, man, the guy's got great hands. So it'll definitely impact us. And obviously this week we're going to need him, man. I mean, it's a tough matchup. I'm glad we're at home, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
generally pretty tough. I was telling Anthony earlier, we're pretty tough at home early in the year. I think if we're going to get them, it's this time. Obviously, we go to Buffalo later on. That's always a juggernaut. And I'll tell you, man, like you said earlier, Buffalo does not. I wouldn't say they miss Diggs a lot, right? I mean, obviously he had an impact in the Houston game, but it was a little off, right? We'll see. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I expect him to show up and do what he normally does against the Dolphins, which is
Yeah, I
create a
mean,
problem.
he came in and threw for 232 yards, which,
Yep.
still did what he needed to. Obviously the touchdowns came. You got the 2 touchdowns in the air, the 2 touchdowns on the ground. It's the Josh Allen show. Like,
Yep.
but the problem is that kind of starts reminding me of RG3. Like, how much of Josh Allen can you get until it breaks? Like, are you going to push that leverage? Are you going to bend that bar as far as it goes and hope it doesn't snap? Like, that kind of makes me nervous. Like, how far are you going to push it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But who knows? We sit here and talk about, teams that are, teams that are struggling or whatnot. But what about Baker Mayfield coming out having himself a day,
Something else,
man?
man. He's something
Holy
else,
smoke,
man.
looking like a top pick quarterback right there.
It's so fun, man. I just love the way he plays, man. His hair's on fire.
Yeah,
It's fun to watch,
289
man.
yards, 4 touchdowns, lead the NFL in touchdowns. Like,
Yep.
nobody saw that coming, I don't think. They did get a pretty good little matchup to start the season, so that helps out. But, still at the end of the day, man, Tua's leading the league in passing yards. That's a good thing. 338 yards. It was in my opinion, it was a very down week for quarterbacks.
It was a weird week. Yeah, it was a weird
down
week.
week for quarterbacks. But if you go to even for running backs, it wasn't. There was a few big namers, Joe Mixon, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, but the number 4 rusher in the NFL right now is Lamar Jackson at 122 yards. So, I think only 6 running backs creased 100 yards other than a quarterback involved in that. So it was 7 total. But, it's going to be a fun year, man. Just so many good players that left teams and go to different teams. And, it's an exciting, time. I applaud Jaden Daniels. He looked great.
It did.
For for a Washington team. I wish he would get Scary Terry some more passes. My guy, man, I need him. He's on my fantasy team. But hey, Jaden Daniels, I drafted him as well. He's a great little player. I was a little upset with Caleb Williams. It was not a great day. Got the win. Got the win. But man,
But
88 yards passing.
They looked horrible, man. And you know what? This week they get to come to Houston. Coming to H-Town is no joke, man. It's that stadium's fun to be inside. It's very loud. They pump some noise in there. I would just imagine. And man, it's a great setting, and these fans are fired up. So
oh yeah.
I'm not feeling good for Caleb this week. I would probably pick the under on his his yardage, whatever it is. I think the Texans are going to come to play. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, another thing, Burrow, no man, they got a chance to go 0-2. They normally play KC tight, but it doesn't look right. And KC looked good.
Yeah,
I think the Bengals are going to be sitting 0-2 after this week. So we'll see. Obviously, when we get to our picks, but I think that's where we're going to be sitting.
Well, I guess since Anthony's not here, we'll just point out his great fantasy look here, or his image look. Is the Los Angeles, Oakland, whatever Raiders suck. It's not the players; it's their pathetic fans. Sorry, Anthony.
My.
I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, you took the L week 1. Go get yourself a quarterback and don't pass up another CJ Stroud, please. Thank you. I
don't even know what to say about the image.
It's great. I love it. I found it awesome. I support whoever created it. It is not ours. It's somebody else's, but we will support it because Anthony's not here, so we have to fill that void. What about Michigan? We'll talk college later. I was about to say, what about Michigan going 0-2? We'll talk about it later. Another guy I wanted to bring up that I kind of had the feeling this was going to be the way it was is Watson. Man, I just think Cleveland is just terrible. Like, great defense, terrible offense. It's like
it did not look good.
And that defense carried them all last year. Man, I don't know. Dak got paid. It was a good day, man. Football is back. It's all that matters.
I'm excited, man. It was great, man.
But let's just fold into the spread. We're going to look over the spread about the weeks coming up since we'll keep talking about it. Currently, game 1 is going to be the Bills versus the Dolphins. That's Thursday night, correct? I believe that's Thursday night.
That is tomorrow night, yeah.
Yes. And then, so that'll be a good game, a very good game. Obviously, they're going to be in Miami. Bills better be ready to play because, like I said, all on his back is going to be tough. Josh Allen's going to really have to shine.
I think the big games this week, you got that one. You got Chicago coming to Texans. I want to see that one.
I like the Saints and Cowboys. I think that might be
Cowboys could be a good game. I agree.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the spread's showing. I really do. I think that everybody's got the Cowboys on cloud 9, but I don't know, man. Well, Derek Carr has been on a run since the end of last year.
I think we're going to see when we get to our picks. I think I'm on the Saints. I think Anthony's on the Saints. I think you. I can't remember if I saw yours.
I also believe I selected the Saints. That doesn't mean I believe they're going to win. I just think it's going to be a field goal game. I really do. Maybe a 4-point game. But at the end of the day, the next one is Green Bay, man. Green Bay taking that. Green Bay and the Colts. Anthony Richardson looked phenomenal. Yep. That dude could throw a freaking football, man. Holy smokes. Like every throw he threw, I thought it hit the ceiling before it came back down. It was a monstrous game from him.
Him and Jaden Daniels, they just got to stay healthy, man. They got to go down. Yeah, they worry me, man. They just got to get down.
Yeah, they see what's crazy about Richardson. I didn't realize how big he is. That dude is a monster. He's big huge, yeah. And he hits people like he's a linebacker. But like you said, so is Josh Allen. Eventually, if something breaks, you got to be careful. So
I don't think Jaden slid one time this week. I really think they need to get a baseball coach in there.
I think he dove forward one time.
Yeah. He wouldn't slide, though. He would not slide to where they can't hit him.
Yeah.
He just won't. It's something they're going to have to work on. So
I do
I
feel
don't
for
know.
Green Bay fans losing Jordan Love the way they did that and having the game he did. That was tough. That was tough to watch. It was like what the second to last play of the game. Like
Yeah.
golly, I don't. From what I read, it's not a tear. It's just sprain. So, fingers crossed. I don't ever want people to get hurt and risk a lot of money in their career.
Yeah.
But any other games on this list that you really like that
You know what? I'm interested this week to see if New England can do it again, what they did. Um, I mean,
I'm all for it because they're playing
yeah,
Seattle.
yeah. I mean, I'm not right being a Dolphins fan, but I'm interested to see. I am. I do like. I think we all did pretty well last week. I mean, none of us were picking against the spreads hard, right? So
Yep. Yeah.
all of us were above. 500, which is good. I think you guys ended up 8-6. I was 10-4. I know we all had two pushes. They were all the same games. So I mean, we're off to a pretty good start overall. I feel good about what we did. I
we
wish we would have
conversating
bet.
that I thought it was a tie.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I mean, I know it can be referred to as a tie, but
Yeah, it's a push.
let's.
I'm
It's a
not. I'm
push. We've
better
got it
smart.
listed like it's. Yeah, we've got it listed like it looks like a tie, but it's a
Yeah.
push. So
So
we, pretty good week to be honest. I wish I would have bet all 14 games, so since I won 10, but that's not
yeah,
what happened. But
exactly.
I'm
Well, I
excited to see
guess
what we got for this week.
we'll jump over and check out Anthony's bracket for this week coming up, just to kind of zoom into it. So with oh well, you know what? I can't. I got to fix that. We'll go to we'll go to your bracket and I'll get his set up.
You're good.
So
I'll go through my picks real quick.
so we can go through your picks and make sure we get it.
So, obviously, my first pick's a homer pick. I don't actually think it's a homer pick. I feel good with the Dolphins at home early in the year. It's going to be a tough game, right? The backfield is a question, so we'll just see. I'm going to take the Dolphins. Um, Next one, Raiders at the Ravens. The Ravens just look good, and they have to win, right? Started 0-1, tough game on the road.
It's
Raiders,
a must win. I really do
yeah,
feel this
it's
week for
pretty
a
much
lot
a
of
must win. We
teams.
got to get going, man. So, I mean, Cincinnati lost too, right? So that's a little bit of a help, but Baltimore's got to get it going. We talked about how bad Carolina is. It makes it pretty easy for me to go ahead and
Take the
take the Chargers. I
Chargers.
mean, that given 6.5 on the road, that's a lot, but I do feel like Dobbins will have another big week. He
Yes.
looked good. The next game is hard for me. I will be honest. I love the way the Saints look. Um, I'm not a Cowboy fan. Just out in the open, it is what it is.
It's the spread seems
They
so
looked good though,
high.
man, but the spread seems high.
Yeah.
But Dallas did look good, man. We didn't talk about them, but Dallas looked good. I don't know. They always tend
They
to look
always
good,
look good in this
right?
in the
So I'm
season.
not going to get worked up on it. The next game it was another one of the tough ones for me. We didn't mention this game about being a good game, but the way Baker's playing, right? I mean, this could be a high scoring game. I could see this game,
But what
both in
Baker
the
are you gonna
30s.
get? That's the
Yeah, well,
question now.
that's
What
the
Baker are
question.
you gonna get?
And obviously playing in front of that crowd could be tough, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I am going to take Tampa Bay with the points. Next one, yeah, I think it's just going to be tough, man. I mean, Willis is not Jordan Love, right? So I got to go with Indianapolis. I got to take Richardson on the road. Um, going down the list, Jacksonville at home, they got to cover 3. I got to take that. I mean, it is what it is. Playing Cleveland, Cleveland did not look good. Jacksonville was up on Miami most of the game. Miami had to come back, so I do feel like they'll have a good week. And this next one, I know, Niners and Vikings. I have seen a decent amount of people leaning to the Vikings for an upset with the spread. I'm speaking. Um, that's just hard for me to do until I see the Niners not do what they do. Right? I struggle with that. Darnold did play well. I don't anticipate that happening with guys like Fred Warner and Bosa and everybody coming at him. So I think that looks a little different. Uh, Next game, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Patriots at home. Hard for me to pick them ever. Seattle's got to travel cross country, right? It's not an easy thing, right? They're playing really early as far as their time zone, so I think that's always tough. Um, the next one is I feel like Aaron Rodgers. He's got to get it going, right? He did not quite look like Aaron, right, coming off the
Yeah, not at
injury.
all. Not at all.
Now, I think we can give a lot of that credit to your defense. The Niners are really solid. So I'm
But
going to
everybody
expect the Jets to
forgets
bounce back.
Jets have a solid defense too.
They got a
That's
great defense,
they're
and that's what I
great.
think will win this game. That's what's going to be,
Yes. Yep.
that's what'll get them this game. It will allow Rodgers the time to kind of do what he needs to get caught up. Jaden Daniels, I just can't see him losing to the Giants at home. I don't see many people losing to the Giants at home. So I think they'll cover the 1.5. I've got the Rams on the road at Arizona. Arizona did look pretty good, right? I mean, they did look like they've got a little more than they had the last few years. Still got to kind of figure out what's going on with Harrison Jr., get him going, kind of get him acclimated to the offense. Him and Murray will figure it out, I think. But I will go with the Rams on the road with the plus 1.5. Cincinnati always plays KC tough, but we talked about it earlier. I just can't see Burrow being able to do it right now. Something's wrong with the wrist. I really feel that way. So I got KC covering the 6. I've got Denver at home against Pittsburgh, actually getting 3 at home. Pittsburgh is one of my teams that I feel like is going to have a good year. I know I surprised you guys when I said I got them in the playoffs, but I don't know. Just feel like Bo Nix will have a good game at home. They'll get it with the +3. Texans at home, got to cover 7. I think they're just going to do it. Their defense is really good.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll go ahead and go
Yeah.
there. And last one for me would be Philadelphia at home. Got to cover 6.5. Atlanta did not quite look right. Don't really know what's going on with Cousins yet, right? It's only one game, but
My,
I got to take Philly at
yeah.
home to cover.
I like it. I like all your points. All your pointers were solid. Which we'll just keep on rolling. I'll get Anthony's bracket fixed when we get back over there. So I'll flip. I'm also in the same boat. I just think, I actually went with Bills on this one. I think, unfortunately, they're going to ride the Josh Allen train as hard and as fast as they can until he breaks. That's my real fear. So I think the only reason the Bills will win, I think the Bills go 7-0, and then Josh Allen has enough injuries that if they slow down. That's the only reason we're early. If this is a game like in 6 weeks, I definitely take Miami at home. I do know being at home, it changes a little bit, but I see the Bills squeaking by on this one. Obviously, Raiders just look, man, just don't look good. Baltimore is too good. But at the end of the day, I don't mind an upset. So fingers crossed. But still, I think Baltimore covers the 9. You said it. Carolina looks terrible. I'll take the Chargers. To handle business. I'm taking the Saints to not win. I think this will be the Dallas wins by a field goal kind of game. I really do. Maybe by 4 points, and Saints try to go down to win a game, and they just can't compete. Maybe, but I don't think they cover. Tampa Bay, I same thing. Detroit. I think this is going to be a lot better game than we think. I'm praying we get the Baker Mayfield that we saw from week 1. If we do, this will be Detroit going for it on 4th down and struggling like they have been. There was some crunch time 4th downs that didn't make much sense to me. I get it. That's what they want to be, but sometimes it just doesn't take the points. Take the 3 you get. You get a free 3 right here. So that's why I believe that it'll probably be a 3-point win or a 4-point win by Detroit. With that being said, I like the Colts easily. Green Bay don't got a quarterback. Once you lose your starting quarterback and you don't got anybody behind them, it's just good luck. Browns, just never understand the Browns. I want Trevor Lawrence to have a great game and to go at home and just throttle the Browns and just, show what kind of quarterback we all know he can be, because he has shown signs of how he can be. I don't think this is a homer pick at all. I think this is just common sense. I know a lot of people have been talking about Sam Darnold had a great game. Everybody forgets this entire defense has one new starter, right? One new starter, or excuse me, 2 new starters, and both the starters are Pro Bowlers that they drafted or traded for or picked up in free agency that came over to the Niners. So the rest of the players, guess who they get to play against every day for an entire season last season? Sam Darnold, who was the backup quarterback. So I really do see this being a good opportunity for the Niners to, use what I call them practice scars or ticks, whatever, because every quarterback has something they do that probably gives away a certain check down or a certain run. So maybe that'll go in their favor. And Niners are pretty solid. I like New England, but at the end of the day, I think Seattle's gonna take care of business. Geno Smith in the squad, even though I forgot and I didn't, and I would love to change this pick. I did see that Walker has an injury, and he popped up on the list with an injury. I know they got Charbonnet behind him, but I don't know. Walker's a good running back, and use your starting running back, it could change things real quick.
So are we changing, or what are we
No,
going with?
I'm sticking.
Okay.
It's
All right.
already here. It's already picked. I'm not changing it. I remember it popping up earlier today, and I forgot to go look at see if anything changed or what it was. But right now we'll just ride the dark horse and stay with the Seahawks. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out here and has an absolute game. I think that him and Garrett Wilson will finally get on point. I honestly am predicting Garrett Wilson to have over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. I think it has to happen now if they want any chance to really show that they can be competitive in this league. If it doesn't happen this week against a mediocre Tennessee team, I don't know what to tell them. Washington, solid. Giants suck. So I still think it's funny that they're only getting a +1 against the Washington versus the Giants, the +1, and you go over there and look, and there's other teams getting a +7, a +6. Like, it just doesn't make sense how bad the Giants are. With that, looking at Arizona, I like Arizona, man. I don't know. Kyler Murray always does some squirrely shit. They're in Arizona, so that's going to change a bunch, in my opinion. If this was in Los Angeles, I would have definitely taken the Rams, excuse me. But I think Arizona at home, it's a tougher game. Cincinnati, I need Burrow to have a comeback game here. Like, he needs to look like Burrow. And if he does, I think they'll be all right. But I still think Kansas City is going to win this game, but I think Cincinnati is going to be able to keep it within a field goal, or at least 4. Pittsburgh, man, I want Bo Nix to be good. The old man of college. I want Sean Payton to be able to prove that he can win without Drew Brees. I want Sean Payton. I like Sean Payton. He just hasn't proven he can do it without having his quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see if the tides change here a little bit. I think Fields is not a good quarterback, man. It's time and time again he's had opportunities, and it's either he rushes for 150 yards and they have a chance, but his throwing ability is just not there, man. Houston, I love them. I love everything about Houston, top to bottom, man. Great defense, great coach, great quarterback, great wide receiver. Just everything about Houston. Houston is going to be a very scary team for the next couple easy 4 or 5 years, I think. They're young, they're building, they're just starting to steam up, and that coaching staff is only getting better. If you're a Texans fan, you better start getting happy, because that team, they went from trash in 2 years to playoffs, and I think this year are going to have a very positive record.
Brother, they couldn't give their tickets away.
Golly, now they're like
you can't
out.
get them now. You can't get them now.
Yeah, you should have bought those season passes 2 years ago when they were cheap.
Hey, I look, man. The people that originally bought when that place was built a couple years ago were like bitching, right? They needed out, but they can't get out of their contract from when they originally signed up as season ticket holders. They were losing so much money. Now
they're probably banking.
Ride the wave, baby. Right? Here we go.
And that Monday night game, Philadelphia flies high at home, and the Falcons look like the Falcons. So it's crazy. We start looking at some of these teams, man, and you start thinking of these big quarterbacks they had and how good they were, like Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger, Atlanta and Matt Ryan. Like, you just start looking at them, like the team, they lose that star quarterback, that leader, and the team just plummets, like completely erases it. So other than that, man, let's flop over to Anthony's. We'll run through his real quick. I need to do something really fast. Gotta go. Sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. I made a mistake and did. There we go. We got it fixed. We got it fixed. All right, so
we don't
Anthony's,
even need to talk about them. We know they suck.
we know he's gonna have the worst record.
We know that after this, whichever ones he picked other than what we picked, they're wrong.
Exactly.
So let's just dissect this. Did he pick anything that I don't know.
We gotta slide up. I'll just run through them real
I
quick.
actually think he agrees with most of us on all of it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like
you guys both got the Bills. I think we all got the next. Yep, the next 5 are all the same. 6 the same. 7 we differ on. You guys have the same with the Seahawks. I got the Pats. We're the same down. He's got you guys. Your guys' picks are the same this week, except for Denver and Pittsburgh. Identical.
Yeah, he has taken Pittsburgh over.
And I'm only a couple. Yeah. So really, they look pretty close, right? I mean, pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun week. Brad right now obviously is winning. Let me go double check the standings. So it looks like Brad's 10-4 with 2 pushes. Me and Anthony are 8-6 with 2 pushes. So it's gonna be a fun week and a fun year. So we'll keep that running. Anything else you want to talk about, Brad, other than the fact that football's finally back and it's a great time to be alive?
Well, I just wanted to make sure we addressed the Raiders and the division champion thing. So we already addressed it. I feel good. I just, the best thing was some of the comments in our thread, right, on some of the social media. Some of the people kind of coming back at Anthony and him just like, oh, the season's not over.
And then
the season's not over, but
you had some homers coming in there like, yeah, we're gonna get it. Listen, at the end of the day, I had to make my charity case and help out the people who don't have fortunate winning seasons. So I wanted to give the Raiders a little bit of support this time. It was a bad idea. Never again will I support the Raiders until they get them a starting quarterback.
Well, I can't wait to hear what they think about us this week.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, Raiders are not winning this week, guys. I am sorry. Other than that, guys, thanks for coming to hang out.
It was fun, man.
Definitely a short one. Unfortunately, we don't got our little pit pat going back and forth with Anthony. We'll catch you guys around with our Jelly Bean Wagers. If you guys want to go check out our YouTube page, there's we got some college content on there that you guys can come and join us with. We are not professionals. We are just 3 old guys with kids who just love talking football. That's it. So if you want to come join us and enjoy it with us, you can. Or if you want to come shit talk on us, totally can. We'll enjoy it. Other than that, you guys
we might let you join us here.
You might. Well, you would set up a camera. Come on in. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Thanks for jumping in.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you join us again. If you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or follow at any of these social medias right here. And if you have any questions or concerns or something you want to discuss, please send us an email at tiltedpodcast24@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.